Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Russ. Appreciate your
No
time.
worries.
Sorry about that, people who are watching who have just rejoining again. Sometimes I feel we've done this before in the first session. I think there's a few technical glitches when you exit someone out and then someone has to rejoin. It stalls the system. I'm not sure, but anyways, moving on. That is technology, and we are still going live and we're still going forward strong. So. Welcome, Russ. Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
time. I guess where do we start? People would love to know about you, your history, your experience. A little birdie told me that you have worked at General Pants, also ASOS, and a fair few reputable brands. So tell me about you and how you got into fashion HR and recruitment in the first place.
Yeah, so at this moment in time, I've launched my new business today, which is both sides of the desk, and that's
Mhm.
really been born out of my experience, like you're saying. So I've worked in recruitment and talent for over 15 years now. So started off in agency for 7, 8 years, recruiting for multiple retailers from Topshop, Topman to Primark to Harrods to Selfridges. After those 7 years, I decided to go in house roles with House of Fraser. So for those of you that don't know House of Fraser, it's a UK department stores, very much like David Jones, who I know Vonnie mentioned that you guys work with. Also ASOS, as you mentioned as well, crazy business.
Yes.
ASOS, 3,000 people in their head office. That's absolutely crazy. And then I moved to Australia in August. Got the role with General Pants, which is sort of 80, 90 people in the head office, so very different. And then, like a lot of people, I've been a victim of the pandemic and what's happening now. And it gave me the opportunity to start this business, which is something I wanted to do for a long time. It's all about helping candidates. It's about helping the candidate find a role. So giving advice, whether that's their LinkedIn profile, advice around what they can do to make themselves stand out, like online courses, like the courses you guys
Yeah.
offer, how to show their best self in the interview, really every stage of the process. So it's actually launched today, the new business. So, it's a bit
Exciting.
nerve wracking. It's a bit nerve wracking because you feel like you're putting yourself on the line. But I've
Yeah.
had some really good feedback from people about the website and what I'm looking to do. So, yeah, exciting times. I'm really happy to be
Yeah.
here talking to you.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I guess just for our audience's perspective, because I was so excited to meet you as well, those that I've spoken on the phone prior, a lot of them had asked me, what is the difference between HR and recruitment within the fashion world? Like, what is that? I guess the difference. Is there a difference or like a different terminology or?
It's much of the same. So HR,
Hmm.
I don't really like the term HR. Human resources. I don't believe humans are resources. We're people. It's all about people experience. I prefer a lot of companies I've worked in have called it the sort of people experience team. That's what ASOS called it,
Hmm.
and that sounds a lot better because it is about people experience. So recruitment sits under that. So it's about how do you get the best people through the door. When you get them through the door, how do you manage their journey, their onboarding? How do you train them up to be the best they can in their role? How do you support them as well? So I guess it is much of the same. It's a function of as you would call HR, so recruitment, training, development, the generalist side of things as well, and also the not so nice sides when you have to deal with issues within businesses as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that about your new organization as well that you've created. And it's definitely something that a lot of our students, they're quite creative and they have their own business ideas as well. And before I forget to mention, we're definitely going to invite you in for a mini workshop as well so that you can help and assist our current students with jobs and recruitment processes and things like that and interview
Great, yeah.
techniques. Which is really exciting. So definitely watch this space, guys. We'll make sure to have Russ invited again. But I guess to give us a little bit more insights, tell us a little bit more about your career highlights that you've had so far to date. Like, what are
Yeah,
they?
that's an interesting one. I've worked at a lot of different companies because, as I mentioned, when you work in a recruitment agency, you're working with lots of different clients. So your clients are the retailers. So I've worked with Topshop, Topman, like I was saying before, Selfridges, Harrods, even people like Tesco, real big volume accounts as well. So it's great to get an insight into how different businesses work, how they recruit. Going in house is a lot different. So you're just looking after one company, one brand, and it's more about how they recruit, the culture there as well. So working with all these different brands has been great. Working in house has been really rewarding as well. Like I said, House of Fraser, ASOS, General Pants over here. You learn something different every time you work in a role. And just before I left the UK for the last year, I made a conscious decision to go into contracting so I could not only use my experience to help companies, but also just learn as much as I could from different companies as well.
Yeah, great. And for an average day for you, I know it's obviously quite a new space for you in your new business, but maybe if you talk about your role at General Pants, what did the average day at the office look like for you?
It's, do you know what? I think if you join any kind of retailer, especially a fashion retailer, there's no such thing as an average day, which makes it so exciting. Everything, every day is always different. I think with General Pants, for me, it was a slightly different role. So I've always worked in recruitment. The role I had at General Pants was not only recruitment, but also looking after HR as well. So what was rewarding for me was I got the opportunity to learn new skills, got the opportunity to learn on the job and also do the recruitment as well, work in a much smaller company. So it's a very broad role. I mean, 1 minute you're sitting with the CEO, then the next minute you're doing a lot of admin that you're maybe not used to. So
Yeah.
it was, it was a great experience. You work in larger companies, there's challenges that come with that as well. So I just think, the breadth of experience you can get is fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. And I guess that's quite similar to being a student and a runner, I have to say. And just to touch on what Yvonne mentioned just prior, our conversation is having our students really adapt to different scenarios. So all of our industry trainers, they come from all different backgrounds like yourself. So I think it's really amazing that, we do have that connection and that our students can learn from those people that come from different backgrounds, but then they can also then move and work into industry and have that internship experience just to get a bit of a taste tester. I guess to tailor that within recruitment alone, since you are the recruitment specialist, how, I guess, like, what would be the difference from you working in a global online retailer like ASOS in comparison with a smaller company like General Pants? Like, how would you compare the difference with those both? I guess being similar roles, but when you're talking about company size and comparison, what was it different for you?
I guess the difference for me was when you're working at such a big company like ASOS, you've got so many stakeholders. You might have 40, 50 stakeholders you're working with and their teams. So, um, for example, General Pants, the buying team there was maybe 5, 6 people, and ASOS, the buying team there is probably about 70, 80 people, if not more. It's probably bigger. So you're working with a lot more stakeholders. So communication has to be slick. It has to be clear. On the flip side, a smaller company with General Pants, you can really get involved in a lot more. You can get under the skin of the business. You can really form relationships and take time and care to form those relationships with your stakeholders. But like I said, there's definitely challenges with both sides of companies. Neither is right or wrong. It really depends what you prefer. You get exposed to a lot more in a smaller company. So,
Mm,
for example, if one of your students were to go in as a buying assistant at
right.
General Pants, they might not get the big structured training that an ASOS might offer, but what they will get is a real insight into the wider business. So they'd sit right near marketing, they'd sit right near the merch planning team, so they would be able to
Mm,
learn from those people. Whereas in ASOS, it's so big, it's very well structured. You've got very good training. So as a buying assistant, you know exactly what you need to do to get to assistant buyer, to get to junior buyer to senior buyer. It's a very structured learning system there. You
mm,
get signed off each level, you move up. Whereas at smaller companies, you don't have that structure, but you do get more of an insight I guess a wider understanding of the business. So, look, if you can in your career, get exposure in both. But there's no right or wrong. It depends what you want to do and what you feel is going to work best for you as well.
okay, that's excellent. And that's very much valid. And I have a question that's just popped up here. I don't have much industry experience. How would you recommend to build on your portfolio, I guess your resume, in order to get into the industry? So, what would your best recommendation be?
Well, look, there's no better time than now to kind of self-learn, do some online learning, and
Hmm.
that's why it's so essential that guys like yourself offer that. So there's lots of people that do. You guys do it really well. So I'd get some online learning, do some research into different industries, different positions you think you want to do, whether that's buying, design, merch planning, social media, marketing.
Hmm.
Look at online courses, do some self-learning, improve yourself. So definitely look at online learning, and it's good again with, I guess, with the college and you guys having the industry trainers there who have such a wide network, and the college has great relationships with retailers, to go and do an online course or do a course in person and then go and get an industry placement as well. It's invaluable to get that on your CV, even if it's a week or 2 weeks. To get that head office experience in a fashion retailer will definitely open up a lot of doors.
Yeah, definitely. It just helps build trust, right, from that employer as well, because they can see, oh, yes, I can see so and so has worked here, here, and here. You know, tell us about your experience. They'll be able to elaborate a lot
Yeah,
more on what
look,
you worked on.
it shows they're dedicated. It shows they really want to go into the industry, and it shows they have an understanding of how head office works. Because until you work in one, especially when you're a bit younger, you don't understand what the challenges are going to be. So to even get that exposure, whether it be a week, 2 weeks, a month, 6 months placement, to get that understanding of how a fashion or retail head office works is really good. It's really valuable, and it will open up a lot of doors for you.
Definitely. And I guess I had a question from the audience that I'm just going to ask and read out here. So, if I've worked in frontline retail all of my life, can studies help with gaining a promotion into head office or managerial positions within fashion? What would your best advice be?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, so say for example, you're working as a sales assistant at Cotton On, you want to get into a head office position. I mean, firstly, you need to have a think about what you want to do. Working in head office is not always, a step up. It depends what you enjoy, what you want to do. But say you do want to get into head office, it is difficult. It is really difficult to get that first step. So getting experience is key. So anything you can do to get yourself, I guess, ahead of the curve, anything you can do to skill yourself up. So whether that's, one of your courses online courses, it's invaluable, and that will open up more doors. It's so important to try and get that experience, network, meet people, talk to people, try and get, whether it's a day's work experience or 6 months, work experience in one of those head offices, it will really, really help. I can't stress how important that is.
Definitely. And for you personally, when interviewing, what would be the big no's, the big NOs that everyone should be aware of when they are applying for jobs or going in through interview stages? What is a definite no?
Well, I think when interviewing, just you have to do your research. You really do. You have to prepare. You've got this one opportunity to go in and meet the hiring manager and the recruitment manager. It's so important that you research, the company, who you're meeting. Have a look at the people you're meeting. You'll know that from the interview invite. You'll be meeting probably with a hiring manager and the recruitment or HR manager. So have a look at their profile on LinkedIn. Where have they been? What have they done beforehand? Have you got any mutual connections? Do any friends of friends know this person or these people? So try and get some insight into them. Do some research on the company. Have a look at their LinkedIn company page. Have a look at Glassdoor. What are people saying about them? Take Glassdoor with a pinch of salt. It's a little bit like TripAdvisor. People
Mm.
are more often to moan about it than say it's a great place. But do read it, see if there's a common theme, see if you feel like it's somewhere where you want to work. But do research, go and visit the stores, get a real understanding of the brand and what they're doing. Because if you walk into an interview and you haven't done that, the recruiter manager and the hiring manager will see straight through you. Also think about in interview that there's always going to be certain questions that are always asked. So talk us through your CV, probably the most simple resume, probably the most simple question you'll be asked, but practice it, talk in front of the mirror, go through your CV, know what order you're going to go through your CV in, know which areas to highlight for that specific role. So if it's a buyer's admin role, talk about how you've worked in retail before, how you're very trend aware, how you're really good at admin. And even if you're tying that back to any kind of college or university course that you've done, tie it back to that. So I guess just really prepare, go through your answers to the questions that are most likely to come up as well.
Definitely. I love that you say that, one of your techniques is talking in a mirror as well, because I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that more confidence, because everyone kind of does feel intimidated just watching themselves. Even me right now doing this virtual
Well,
online
do you know
intro
what?
thing. I hate
Do you
looking
know
at
what?
myself.
A lot of interviews, even when things do start to pick up a bit more, you know, let's face it, with everything that's going on, it's unlikely the doors are suddenly just going to open and everyone's going to be able to go out and hug each other. It's going to happen gradually. So there's going to be so many interviews done like this. And it is daunting. It's horrible looking at yourself and trying to answer an interview question. So do get used to it, even if you're just looking at your phone in photo mode, going through your answers to questions. Just do it. Get yourself used to it, because the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll be, and you can act more natural in the interview as
Yeah.
well.
100%. And I know that Arana does that really, really well. We do offer a lot of tactics and tips, and I see students practicing on each other
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
interview steps, and I know that it's a part of the curriculum as well, that we do teach. So I really like that advice that you just mentioned as well. And I definitely can't wait for you to pop in to train our students too. But I guess like what would be I guess now, because of obviously COVID pandemic, there's a lot of you know, barriers and walls at this stage in terms of recruitment. You know, there's less jobs being advertised. Like you said before about jumping on LinkedIn and doing your research, what other advice do you think you could offer in terms of how do we network? I mean, if a job's not advertised, is it still okay to approach directly a hiring manager if you've kind of done your research and you saw them on LinkedIn? Is it okay to flick a message, you know, out of the blue? Do they appreciate that, or do they just kind of flag that off? Like what?
Look, of course it's fine. And yeah, at the moment, there's very few people looking to hire, but that will change. Of course, it's going to change. Now, the issue candidates will face over the next few months is going to be there's going to be a lot of people on the market looking for a job. So you've got to think in this time now, what can I do at this moment in time to make myself the best possible version of myself 2 months down the line when people are starting to recruit? So you want to be a buyer's assistant. What can I do now to get myself in the best possible place when you know the doors open up again, people start recruiting? So you know, learning is key in that. So online learning is something everyone can do now. You know, your courses are great, but any kind of online learning it is essential. Look at your LinkedIn profile. Is it telling people what you want it to tell them? Is it really highlighting that you do want a job in buying? Yeah, and definitely send messages out on LinkedIn. So do your research. Have a look at, so if you're looking to work in Sydney, do your research, find out which retailers and fashion retailers or even suppliers are based in Sydney. Then have a look to find out who the recruitment manager is. If it's too small to have a specific recruitment manager, then find out who the HR manager is, connect with them, connect with you know, the senior buyers, the head of buying. You know, don't bombard them with messages, but make it very short, make it specific. Just, you know, make it very clear that you're just saying, hi, look, I've had a look on your website. I can see you're not recruiting at the moment, but I just want to say, you know, hello, I'm really interested in buying assistant roles. This is what I've done. These are the courses I've done specific to buying, because that's what I want to do. I've got this experience as well, which lends itself to buying. So, you know, I don't expect a response, but as soon as you start advertising, I'm going to reply. I just wanted to connect in the meantime. So just, you know, there's so much you can be doing now to improve yourself and making sure you're connecting with the right people.
Definitely. And it's funny that you say that, and it's so good that I guess you're motivating students in this time to still keep positive and definitely keep motivated and do their research, and that gives them homework to do to then, you know, get work. And I do know, just because my previous background was working at Seek, and I worked with the analytics team quite a bit actually, and we were building quite a bit on, you know, certain tools to be able to streamline certain resumes. So I know that keyword search is a thing, and it's so simple to just type in, you know, I just want someone with a certificate for, or I want someone that has, you know, this experience, X, Y, and Z, and like Google search, and then you'll just be able to pull up all those resumes in general. So I think like having that little bit of human touch and being able to reach out, you know, rather than just sending a CV and waiting to prompt, you know, for someone to hire you, I think that shows great initiation. You know, if I was a hiring manager and I had hundreds of resumes and then I saw a personal little message to say, hey, you know, notice that you've just popped this job out on, or notice that you don't have a job advertised, but I'm really keen on working with you or finding more about your company. Do you have time for a coffee or whatever? I think that really just highlights your, I guess, love and passion for that particular industry. But like you said, it's so important and crucial to do your research. I mean, you don't want to go in blind. If they were to say, yes, we're happy to interview you, and then you're just kind of like, don't know. So I think practice makes perfect, definitely, and doing those techniques that you were mentioning. I did have another question, I guess more fashion specific. Could you explain what the current fashion trends have been, and is that actually a thing in recruitment, like a particular fashion quality or a trend when you're looking at hiring people?
I guess it's like any industry. There's always trends. I think technology plays a large part in recruitment. Like you were saying before, your time at Seek, there's often kind of sort of keywords and key searches people can do. So the first place a recruiter is going to look is LinkedIn. So make sure that your profile is saying those keywords. Your experience that you're noting down on LinkedIn is relevant. Even in the headline, putting that you're seeking design assistant or buying assistant roles rather than saying what you're doing at the moment. So yeah, I think automation is going to play a large part in recruitment. It does now. It will do going forward as well. So there will be less human contact. So you need to ensure that your CV is saying the right thing, you're highlighting the right things, you're taking care of the application as well. But you're never going to lose the human touch. Like you were saying, you need to network, you need to reach out to people. I've had it before where I've been going through CVs when somebody's applied for a role and a name has stood out, and I thought, why do I know that name? And it was because they had approached me on LinkedIn. So it made me think twice. I took a bit more time looking at their resume as well. So definitely reach out to people, because as much as technology and automation comes into recruitment, the human touch is always going to be there. So it's all about networking, relationships. So it's really important.
Definitely key. Beautiful. Well, look, I think that's about it to wrap us up today. But I guess one last question to fully wrap it up is I'd really like to know if there's any sort of advice that you could give, any words of wisdom to those that are watching now and those that will watch the recorded version as well in terms of hiring and recruitment in general. What kind of advice would you like to give our students and people watching?
Why don't you ask a broader question? That's very broad. There's no one piece of advice. I just mean, just do your research and prepare. I think at every single stage, prepare. Really take care of your LinkedIn profile, your resume. Think about, what can I do in this time now at the moment when people aren't hiring? How can I improve myself? Can I do some online learning? Can I do some research? Can I go out and network with the right people? And then again, when you get the interview, go out and research. Really research the brand. Try and understand what people are saying about the brand, so you know what to expect when you go in an interview. So it's all about preparation.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much for your time, Russell. I really
No
appreciate
worries.
it. Thank you. And we'll definitely see you again really soon in our workshop. And yeah, look, if anyone has any questions directly for Russ as well, please make sure to email us. Check out his business as well online. It's pretty awesome and really exciting time for you, and definitely looking forward to seeing how that grows through time.
Thank you. It's been great speaking to you.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.
Okay, great, guys. So that was basically it for our session. Like I mentioned again, if you do have any questions, please visit us on our website at www.aranacollege.com.au. Book in a consult with me, please. It is really, really key in order to speak and get that advice prior enrolling. And definitely, I guess just before we do finish up, I do have a few questions that were sent through to me prior the online open day. So I'll just answer a couple of them. So from Diala, how long does this course take? It depends what course that you're looking to take on. So we do offer 3 course offerings. We offer the diploma, which is the completion of 12 months. We offer a Cert 4, which can be completed within 6 months. We also offer our industry certification, which is our series of 18 classes all together in a masterclass, 18 masterclasses specifically. So that can be done as little as 18 weeks. So that roughly spans out to being about 3 to 4 months. So we have a few different course offerings, but again, it's really, really important to talk with me prior enrolling so that you can really fully understand everything to do with the courses that we do offer and see what kind of delivery suits you, since we are quite tailored. And also, I just really love talking with people, let's be honest, because everyone is different. I love hearing their story. Now, another question that I got asked was from Mariana Bao. Does the college work for international students? Yes, we definitely have our doors open for international students. At this stage with COVID, Ascot has been a lot more flexible with delivery options. Luckily for us, for our interstate students, like mentioned previously, we have always had the options of flexibility, virtual and online self-paced. So our international students, if you are offshore and you can't come to Australia at this time, you still can study with us. We do have options that are flexible. And up until the borders do open and you do get your visas granted, then you will then be able to continue on your studies here in Australia. So that is a big yes. Now, what is the ATAR needed to get into the courses? That was a question from Naral Huda. So no ATAR needed, purely just yourself and your motivation and your passion. As long as you have a U12 certificate, if you are looking to get into our diploma course, or work-life experience. Otherwise, another way of entry is to enter through our Certificate 4 or Masterclass series. We can look at progressive stepping stones for you to then combine it all to complete the final stage of a diploma. Now, another question, last ones. Do you have summer courses from Ekin Maziki? So yes, I guess our masterclass series are pretty much like mini little summer courses. They're really short, really easy, bite-sized, only 1 day a week, one time a night, and they're on every single Monday night. So definitely you can take something on like that if you're looking for something really short and bite-sized. But again, like it's been said throughout this whole session, experience is really, really key. So this is one of the key things that we do focus on at Orana. So make sure that you do have a look at all the options to see what would suit you and what you actually need. So then we can offer that additional support to get you into the right places and pathways, or even if you want to start your own business, we can really help organize certain sessions to further assist you on that. Now, the final question, where do I leave this, is let me have a look. So are there payment options available? Yes, there are payment options available. We have really flexible payment options. You can definitely book in a consult with me to go over all of them, because each course does cost differently. And it's better to go through all the different options so then you can find which one is better suitable for you. But yes, look, thank you so much again for your attendance and your time and joining me. If you do have any questions, or if you just joined in late, please make sure to email info@oranacollege.com.au. But I really appreciate all of your time, and I thank you again, and I look forward to seeing some of you start with us. Thank you. Bye.